Welcome to Business Buzz. I'm joining here today with Rob Inman, Director of Operations for the Boise Best Real Estate here at their office in Meridian. Welcome. Thanks for having us in today, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So Rob, Boise Best Real Estate, you and your partner have been top producing team in the Treasure Valley for more than 25 years. What's allowed you to stay successful for that long, especially with so many market changes going on?
Education. We take education extremely serious. We like to sign up for every class that we can. We also teach.
Okay.
So being involved in the realtor community, really knowing what's going on in the industry, not necessarily just here in Boise, but kind of nationwide, because typically what happens is if something happens somewhere else, we'll probably see it here if it's a big enough deal.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that that's coming beforehand definitely helps with that. Obviously, Lee, our owner, has been in business for a long time. She's seen a lot of different markets. So as we go into new markets, there's similarities between the current market and maybe something that happened. Not 100%, but there's something there. And that kind of allows us to stay ahead of the game a little bit. But it's also, we're busy. There's a lot of real estate agents out there that aren't necessarily that busy. And so they don't have the experience. They don't get the transactions. We do quite a few transactions. So we get to learn through being thrown in the fire a little bit. And so we're constantly learning, we're constantly getting better. What's nice though is we're not as surprised anymore. We've been doing this long enough. We don't see too many surprises.
You're not seeing too many curveballs.
No, the curveballs don't come as much. Every once in a while though, when I think I've learned everything, there's something that'll teach me a lesson.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, you've both been in business a long time. What trends are you seeing in today's market that most, buyers and sellers misunderstand? Education is important. What can you do to kind of reshape their thoughts on those things? What do they misunderstand most often?
Mm-hmm. So people come here and they really think that, oh, this is the farm community, this is the smaller community. But in all reality, we're in the top 70 in population in the nation. Mm-hmm. We're a major city now, and we operate more in that way now. And I think one of the things that I like to say, a lot of people say, oh, I can't believe the prices are doing the prices are doing. I can't believe. Wait, you can't compare us against really small towns anymore. You have to compare us against cities. And when you look at that, we are still very affordable. We are still ahead of the game in that regard. And I think that's one thing that we try to educate our clients on. The other thing is Boise is a new community, relatively speaking. We don't deal with a ton of older homes. We have a few neighborhoods that are older, but a lot of our homes are newer. And so I think a lot of people forget that you don't buy a lot of fixer-uppers here. And so educating them on that there's going to be a lot of very nice homes that you look at, and there's going to be a lot of things that you may have had to do in the past in other homes that you don't have to do here.
Yeah, especially here in Meridian. I mean, if you look back 20, 30 years, everything's new.
Everything, yeah.
Because our community was so much smaller.
Exactly, yeah.
20, 30 years ago.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So how do you stay involved in the community? What's important to your business?
So the biggest thing is I like to be the resource for our clients. Yeah, I can do their real estate transit. Yeah, we can talk about inspections. Yes, we can talk about lending. We can do all those things. Mm-hmm. But what we really like to do is I like to share Boise. So if I'm not involved with things that are going on, then I can't be that advocate for Boise and that expert for my client. Mm-hmm. So it's really important for us to get out and go to things like baseball games at the Hawks. Yeah. Be involved with athletics over at Boise State. Understand what builders are here, understand what the government's doing, so being involved in that way is more of a responsibility that we have versus something that we just do for fun. Now we get to have fun doing it, but it's not really the point. The point is to know what's going on in the community so that we can educate the people coming here.
It goes back to that first thing you said, is being educated, learning.
Exactly.
Knowing everything about the community that you serve.
Right. I drive around with clients all the time, right? And yeah, we have questions about real estate. And yeah, we look at really nice neighborhoods and this and that. But what happens when I drive by this new building that's going in and my client goes, what's that? If I don't know, that's an issue. I should know. Especially if I'm saying, come to Boise, move to Boise, buy a home here. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I don't know what that is. And I don't know, that's not okay. I need to know what those things are. And it's getting harder as we get bigger because there's a lot more going on.
Okay. So what is one belief about real estate you wish people would just finally let go of?
I think the big one is everybody knows what happened in 2008. And it's not as much and not as prevalent anymore, but I think one thing is that housing is typically, if you look back through history, it's been one of the safest investments you can make. Even people that bought in 2008, if they still hung on to their home till today, they're in a very good position, right? So I think one of the things is the scared mentality of real estate. Yes, there are things that can be scary. That's why you hire somebody like me, so it's not scary. But the investment itself is fairly solid, especially in a growing community. There's many towns that wish they had the market we had. They don't have the influx. They don't have those things. Boise is a very safe community. Boise is a growing community. So your investment in real estate here, for one, it should be about your home and where you want to live. But second of all, your investment is secure here in Boise. It's about as secure as you can get it. And I think getting that fear out of people's mind, and my job is to take some of that fear away and make it fun to do this. But knowing that it is secure here in Boise, and we don't foresee things going the wrong way quickly. And so I think that's one thing that I like to try to take away from people, is that fear that most people buy real estate do really well.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the old adage that most communities look at: you're either growing or you're dying.
And we're growing.
And we're
very
growing
fast.
Yeah, we've been growing. So what's the best way for our viewers to learn more about Boise Best Real Estate? How can they find you?
So the best way is just to call me and we'll go have a beer and we'll talk about Boise.
Okay.
But I guess we do have a website.
Okay.
You can go to our website. We're on all the socials. We're on Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the normal spots you can find us at. But that's pretty much the best way, is come walk in my office and
Okay.
we'll either get coffee or a beer and we'll figure it out.
Well, excellent. Well, I'm glad you're helping serve our community, and there's constantly people still looking for homes. The market is strong. There's a high demand for homes, so we hope our builders keep building. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, Rob, thank you so much for
thank you.
inviting us in today and having a quick chat.
Perfect.